Welcome to Coasters and Kicks, the only podcast where theme park thrills meet sneakerhead chills. Here, we'll be taking you from the front of the drop tower to the front of the sneaker line, all in one ride. Every week, we're talking drops, loops, heat on feet, and theme park seats. Whether you're gearing up for a day at the parks or camping out for the latest shoe release, this is your fast pass to culture, kicks, and coasters. So buckle in, lace up, and let's ride. Now for your host, Desmond.
Welcome back, Coasters and Kicks family. It has been a long 2-year hiatus. Welcome to the 4th episode of Coasters and Kicks. We've got a lot to talk about. In today's episode, I want to really touch on a couple of things that I've actually been hearing and seeing in terms of rumors that obviously can change. But obviously right now, this is what the rumor wheel's really spinning and going right now. One of the things that I want to talk to you guys about is that, of course, obviously we all know now, as of now, if you haven't already heard, Villains Land has officially been announced to be coming to the Magic Kingdom with 2 major attractions. Obviously, there's still no official word yet on what those attractions will be, to be exact, but one of the attractions is rumored to be a thrilling outdoor Maleficent themed roller coaster, which you can kind of see in the official concept art, and the second attraction being an e-ticket dark ride featuring all of the main Disney villains. Now, there is a theory going around right now, pretty common, that this e-ticket dark ride will actually utilize the scoop ride system, which is similar to the Peter Pan ride in Fantasyland or Fantasy Springs. But to be honest, I'm not sure how I feel about that. I'm all for the Disney villains, dark ride, 100%. I can honestly tell you that because it feels like Disney's kind of finally trying to listen to its fans, because we've been asking for, of course, an entire villains park for a while. Obviously, at this point, it's gotten shot down multiple times, and as rumored, really, but or not talked about at all. But to be honest, I'll take what I can get. Villains Land, an entire land themed around the villains. We're gonna love. The interactions with the princesses and the other characters you can find throughout the Disney parks are great. But honestly, my favorites by far have to be those stings and zingers you get from from Maleficent and from the different villains that you actually find around the parks of Gaston even. So to be honest, I'm really excited. The only thing I'm not really too much of a fan of is the scoop ride system theory. Obviously it's just a theory. It's possible that could happen, but I feel like it should be like a trackless ride almost, a trackless ride where you're trying to, you creep in through a forest, and obviously you're kind of gotten to the point where you're in the Magic Kingdom, but you actually happen to make a wrong turn and you end up in this land, and obviously you come upon the different iconic Disney villains, where there's animatronics, and animatronics are kind of the main focal point of the ride. Obviously you have these really themed sets, not doing the screen heavy. Yeah, I'm looking at you, Universal, and I'm listening, but I'm also very much judging. We're tired of screens. I'm getting screen fatigue personally. I know tons of people that are as well, and obviously it's been apparent, that's feedback that Universal's gotten as well. But honestly, I feel like if it were to be a trackless system, it'd have to be very animatronic or, practical set heavy. We need something that's going to captivate guests, really. We really do, because to be honest, with what Epic is doing, what Universal's doing with their different parks, is something that needs to be addressed. And I think that could really help and attract guests. Moving on. The Hall of Presidents is actually rumored to have quietly been permanently closed. I don't think it's permanently closed currently. This is what my speculation is, that it's just like a little small refurbishment that they're doing outside of the typical refurbishments that they would do. But obviously, for a while now, it's been closed pretty frequently, or to the point where it feels like it's permanently closed. The leading rumor at the moment for a replacement is some sort of Muppet show. However, there's no word on whether this will be the same Muppet Vision 3D show that's in studios or an entirely new show featuring the Muppets. Now, me personally, given the history of the Hall of Presidents, I do not foresee them getting rid of the Hall of Presidents at all. I can, however, see them, I wouldn't necessarily call it upgrading, because some people may not see it as upgrading, but I can see them incorporating the Muppets in the Hall of Presidents and kind of giving it its own name or a new name, because I'm not sure if you guys know, some of you may already know, but there is a show that they do like outside. They did a show outside of the Hall of Presidents in the Liberty Square area of Magic Kingdom, where it was like the Muppets present great moments in American history, and it was kind of like, reenacting historical moments from that era, that colonial era, in a Muppets fashion, obviously that comedic way that they really can be in and do. But in all honesty, I can see them doing that. And to be honest, I feel as if they were to do anything with the Muppets, incorporate them in the show, I could see them either keeping the animatronics there, obviously, and keeping the presidents and their voice lines there, if not retiring some of the older animatronics and things like that, and possibly just using their current acting president and their voice lines, but preserving the older president's animatronics and voice lines, if they did have any, and just preserving it, obviously not getting rid of it altogether, putting it in the vault, obviously. So I can honestly see that happening. I just don't see them getting rid of Hall of Presidents altogether. It's just kind of too historic. But again, it's Disney, and these are rumors. You never know. Everything that we're discussing today, like I mentioned previously, none of this is official or confirmed by Disney. Anything that I'm basically discussing with you today, it could and possibly will change at any time. I always take rumors and any speculation with a grain of salt. That way, of course, you don't get your hopes up and let down too hard. But moving on, this next part, and these next couple of things I want to talk with you guys about it's kind of too early to tell. But hey, we could see it happen, especially with this next one, a Lion King boat ride. It's been rumored for a while. It kind of is still being rumored to be coming to Animal Kingdom behind the Festival of the Lion King. However, especially with the rumors, not even the rumors, the announcement of a Lion King ride coming to Disneyland Paris, it's not rumored to be the same ride that they're getting at Disneyland Paris. The Disneyland Paris attraction is going to be a flume ride, but this attraction is rumored to be like a smaller scale boat ride that's supposed to be reminiscent of a Fantasyland style, like Fantasyland style dark ride. I'm a fan of getting a Lion King boat ride, not too much of a fan of getting a Fantasyland style dark ride where it's going to be like a smaller scale boat ride, because to be honest, the only thing I can think of in that, in my mind at least, would honestly be, the only thing I think of is It's a Small World. And to be honest, that's been done. It's been done. We don't need another It's a Small World Lion King themed. We don't. I would love for it to be something along the lines of, Navi River Journey, which kind of like It's a Small World, but the Lion King, I needed to be really storytelling based. I needed to be really animatronic heavy. The screens in Navi River Journey, while captivating for a while, it gets old. And again, bleeding into that screen fatigue I was telling you about earlier, and I was telling you about that I have, and many other guests have too. So to be honest, I'm not really a fan of that, but we'll see how that goes. Feel free, because I will be posting on socials about these rumors and things like that, obviously, and more news coming up. Feel free to drop in the comments any questions you may have, or any rumors and speculations you have or have heard. I'd love to hear from you guys. Moving on, The Simpsons. Obviously, The Simpsons, this is huge because The Simpsons contract is actually ending next year for Universal. So, with Universal's contract of The Simpsons ending, The Simpsons are apparently being rumored to be eyed for Hollywood studios after that contract expires. This is what people are speculating could replace Animation Courtyard. Again, it's way too early to tell, but I don't see this happening at all either. This, I don't see that happening at all. The meet and greets that Animation Courtyard actually presents for families and little ones, the amount of people that it attracts, and also the matter of fact, now to think about it, the Disney Junior live on stage, right? Which used to be Playhouse Disney live on stage, that brings in too many young guests, in my personal opinion. I don't foresee them getting rid of that whatsoever. And to be honest, at the same time, right across the plaza is the Voyage of the Little Mermaid, which is also getting a huge facelift as at the moment. I don't see them getting rid of that at all. I unfortunately feel as if with The Simpsons, well, I wouldn't say unfortunately. Best case scenario, I'm seeing that obviously Universal and Disney, or could foresee Disney and Universal renewing that contract, and The Simpsons staying at Universal. And that's best case scenario in Disney's favor, at least, and in guest favor. Because I don't foresee them replacing Animation Courtyard with The Simpsons. I just don't. If anything, especially in Animation Courtyard of all places, if anything, I could honestly see The Simpsons, being just like the most likely outcome, joining that list of fan favorite characters that we love, but their only representation in the parks is like meet and greets during special events and seasonal events. That I can honestly see that happening. If that, and that's a next best case scenario, to be honest. Because to be honest, I don't see that happening. I don't, like I said, I really don't. And I stick by that. Which kind of leads me to my next part. I mean, outside of Disney with Universal, if they were to, in Universal's best case scenario, they get rid of Simpsons, which again kind of good and bad for us, because I could honestly see them again with Universal and Nintendo's partnership with Super Mario Land, Super Nintendo Land, with Mario, Donkey Kong already being there, and there being some rumors that I want to discuss with you guys later. I'll discuss that with you guys on our next episode of Coasters and Kicks, episode number 5. Hopefully we'll be recording soon. I can foresee them doing Pokemon. Pokemon has just about as large of a fan base as Mario does. When people think of Super Nintendo Land, people were calling it Super Mario Land, period, because it was just Mario that people thought about. They didn't think about Donkey Kong. They didn't think about, any other characters besides Mario. They just called it Super Mario Land. So what's associated with Mario? Donkey Kong, Luigi, Peach, Bowser, the Koopas. Exactly what we see in their parks currently at Epic and even at Universal Studios Hollywood. So personally, I can see Pokemon taking over The Simpsons, because think about the amount of people that were actually walking around different malls, unfortunately may the rest their souls, grave sites and things like that, playing Pokemon Go. That fan base is huge, and to further bolster their lineup and to further make them the number 1 park in Florida, I feel like they would go that route. But again, only time can tell. Next thing, Inside Out is supposed to be rumored to be getting an attraction where the Wonders of Life Pavilion was, or Play Pavilion, what they call it now. I don't see that happening if it's just Inside Out. I could definitely see it being like Pixar Pier-esque, where it's Pixar, like a Pixar land, period. Especially considering the only Pixar that we have in the parks in Florida would be, you know, Toy Story, and maybe The Incredibles. And that's The Incredibles really just like a meet and greet. It's nothing really much else. So to be honest, I can see them doing that. But again, only time can tell. But again, let me know what you guys think. I'd love to hear from you guys, of course, because I'm excited about these things. And then next thing I want to discuss with you guys. The next thing I want to discuss with you guys, and final rumor that I want to discuss with you guys this evening, would honestly be that there are rumors that after Cars and Villains are done at the Magic Kingdom, Disney will be shifting their focus to Adventureland for the next new expansion. Yeah, you heard it. Next new expansion. There are supposedly rumors of an expansion of Adventureland. So these rumors would include a Moana boat ride that apparently is supposed to be going behind the Pirates of the Caribbean, as well as a new Adventureland themed deluxe DVC resort that'll connect to the park directly. This will be one of the first parks on, in Florida, really, at Walt Disney World that connects directly to the park, as opposed to where, obviously, I know, don't get me wrong, we got the walkway from the Contemporary Resort and the villas. We got a walkway that you can walk, across the street and get to the park. But I could honestly see this Adventureland themed DVC or deluxe resort being a Grand California, kind of how they have a walkway that literally takes them into their park, right? They leave the resort and they got an exclusive entrance only for them, right? Over at Epcot, yes, we got the resorts around Epcot where you can walk around and walk towards the entrance, and it's a park entrance there. But apparently this is rumored to be connecting directly to the park, which would be huge. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm honestly kind of all for it, especially considering the with the work that Disney has been doing with the different parks and the resorts around the parks that they have, like for example, Disney's Lakeshore Lodge. That's the newest hotel that'll be right by Magic Kingdom. It's supposedly in the former home of the River Country Water Park by Fort Wilderness Resort and Campground. It's supposed to be opening up sometime in 2027. And it's supposed to be inspired by nature and enduring influence on the Disney artists, right? Honestly, concept art, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. But to be honest, there is a little bit of drawback that we're getting, that people aren't as excited about it. A lot of Fort Wilderness fans are basically upset about losing part of the space to the new resort because they feel like the new resort style is detracting from the aesthetics of Fort Wilderness and the surrounding areas, which again, I can honestly see. I can understand why they might say that, because again, even with the updating of the cabins, updating the cabins to a more modern style, again, in my most humble opinion, I like it, but it again has caused some unhappy guests, with the updates. A lot of the nostalgia of the parks or even the resorts for a lot of people are being taken away. But again, when people are looking at the resorts, some of these people aren't looking at the nostalgia of the parks any longer. You got guests that are younger in age, guests that are younger to the point where they didn't come to the parks and things like that. They didn't see what the resorts were like, or they did see the resorts and they felt like, okay, it was dated and it was time for a change. So, I can see both sides of the coin, honestly, but same thing, really, this DVC, Disney's been really DVC heavy recently. For example, the Polynesian Island Tower, beautiful by all means, in my opinion. Again, they got a deck that specifically It plays music inside, and you can actually go ahead and watch the fireworks from inside of the deck, which is really, really cool. It looks really upscale. But again, a lot of people aren't happy with the DVC, the Vacation Club members, because even the resorts, while obviously non-DVC members can stay at the resorts, they're really built to appeal to the DVC members. And even then, some people are frustrated that, again, we're going to have another resort that's not necessarily built with the traditional guest in mind, is what a lot of people's mindset is. And I get that. Of course, and even, again, timeshare systems, people aren't really a big fan of timeshares, period. So, there are many guests that are not in support of timeshare systems on Disney property, period. So again, only time can tell when it comes to these resorts and things like that are being built on park grounds and things like that at Walt Disney World. But to be honest, me personally, I'm excited. Just like one of the things that Walt used to say, progress is impossible without change. Remember, he always stated, and he famously stated, the way to get started is to quit talking and begin doing. And obviously these quotes highlight the importance of action and continuous improvement in both personal and professional life. That does not exclude his park. Again, worrying about what is one of my favorite quotes that Walt Disney himself said. One of my favorite quotes from him is, "Worry is a waste of imagination." If we're going to sit here and worry about, okay, hey, what the park's going to be like after that, what it's going to look like after, what the experience is going to be like after that, well, at that point in time, we're wasting what we could be imagining and putting into place, what we could actually be improving and doing. So to be honest, I'm excited for all this change that's coming. And honestly, again, only time's going to tell. Only time is going to tell, Now, moving on, Disney want to definitely go ahead and move forward, because honestly, we're getting close to the end of the year. It feels like this year has really flown by. And obviously, one of the next big events that we're going to be seeing come into the Disney parks, of course, is Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party at Walt Disney World, and obviously Oogie Boogie Bash at Disneyland. Of course, the 2025 season at Walt Disney World will actually feature Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party on select nights from August 15th to October 31st, like usual. And Disneyland's Oogie Boogie Bash is also returning, with specific dates and details yet to be announced. Honestly, I'm excited. This year at Walt Disney World, Mickey's Boo to You Halloween Parade is coming back. We're getting the Hocus Pocus Villain Spectacular and Spelltacular, Let me put some respect on the Hocus Pocus brand and that movie. Disney's Not So Spooky Spectacular Fireworks Show. Obviously, trick-or-treating for the little ones and for our not-so-little ones as well. And also, we're getting a new Zombies 4 dance party. I'm not huge or too familiar with personally with the Zombies franchise that Disney has, but I've heard it's actually really, really nice. It's a really good franchise, good movie. Of course, obviously, it's pretty good for them to get up to 4 movies, right? But not only that, I've heard not sure if you've heard, but one of the most popular things that I used to love to do, and that a lot of our other guests used to do, was meet Jack and Sally from Nightmare Before Christmas. Literally, the line to meet them is usually the longest line of the evening, no matter what event, no matter what party you go to. In previous years, Jack kind of looked a little off because it felt like his head was elongated, and it was like, okay, hey, the top part of his head was a mask, and then from lips below, it was just his lips. So it gave him a very odd look. But this year, Jack actually got a really nice upgrade. I'm talking about a really nice upgrade. To be honest, this new version of Jack will probably bring even longer lines for the Jack and Sally meet and greet at the party. But I honestly can't wait to see what it looks like. Now, this Zombies dance party that's actually going to be coming, apparently it's supposed to be somewhere around, if I'm not mistaken, where they used to do, oh my gosh, where was the little dance party near Space Mountain. So that's where that's supposedly going to be. But apparently, again, the franchise is pretty huge based on what I've been told. Of course, prices are going to be increasing. So this year it did bring a couple of not so super thrilled price increases, but depending on the date. But the price for the most in-demand dates have actually gone up. Last year's price for the party tickets ranged from $119 to about $199. Well, this year's price, though, they range from $119 to $229, meaning those high-demand dates now cost $30 more. Really, ouch, to be honest. It's kind of sad to hear that. Because again, it feels like Disney's kind of pricing out, the families, and it does hurt to hear that. But obviously, Disney is a business. I get it can happen, especially due to increase in operating costs. Obviously, that means ticket cost increase. It's unfortunate, but unfortunately, it is part of life. Now, of course, when it comes to the Halloween party, Mickey and Minnie. Previous parties, you can meet Mickey and Minnie in their Halloween outfits, but they usually kind of met separately. Well, this year, for the first time ever, Mickey and Minnie will be meeting party guests together in their Halloween outfits at Tony's Town Square Theater. How cool is that, right? First time ever. So this is generally where, of course, Mickey does meet their guests during the day. But if you want to meet the stars of Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party, you want to make sure to make time to stop by when the party starts, because to be honest, their line will probably be extremely long. We're possibly getting a new place to drink and eat also. So, of course, when it comes to Magic Kingdom, like I mentioned, Magic Kingdom's got I want to say a huge overhaul, right? It's not technically officially confirmed just yet, but this year's Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party could see a brand new place open in Magic Kingdom with foods and drinks. And yep, if you haven't already heard, that'd be Pirates of the Caribbean themed lounge, the Beak and Barrel. It may very well be open during the party. So we don't know this for sure, and Disney has only said the Beak and Barrel will be open in late 2025, but it could happen. Here's the thing, again, though, originally the Beak and Barrel website information detailing it would be open during the party, but Disney later took that information down. Make of that what you will. Again, Disney could just be simply pulling back. That way they're not spoiling it or having people kind of lined up for it, kind of trying to do like a surprise possibly, but we'll know. Now, of course, what does this mean if it is actually open this fall? Considering it's probably going to be hard to get into the lounge on a regular park day, a lot of folks may be using the party to get access to the lounge, meaning it could be hard to get into during the limited ticket event too. So that's probably why they also pulled back on it. So this year's party is looking to be even better. If you're interested, obviously tickets go on sale for select Walt Disney World Resort Hotel guests on May 15th, which is already passed at this point. They're available to you now. And to the general public, they actually open up to the general public on May 22nd. Tickets are limited and many dates sell out quickly. So keep that in mind. Of course, let me know. Will you be attending Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party this year? Let us know what you're looking forward to in the comments as well, because I'll definitely be posting more on socials about that as well. Next up, definitely want to talk to you guys about some new development that's been going on over at Magic Kingdom. Of course, the ride envelope and track testing begins at Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. It actually began not too long ago. Based on pictures and things like that, honestly, I can say the track looks phenomenal. These upgrades, they're going to be great. I can't wait. Ride envelope testing, if you don't know what it is basically a critical step in the refurbishment process of any major attraction. It's basically like a little small test vehicle, and it doesn't even look like a vehicle, to be honest. It's kind of hard to explain. You'd have to look it up, but it has like little fins extending outward from the frame of it. That way it simulates the maximum reach of riders, ensuring that no part of the surrounding environment, rock work, any props or structures falls within unsafe proximity to the ride path to ensure guest safetiness. Of course, they actually had some like yellow test chases or yellow test chases on the track, which basically was positioned on the track, basically used to assess weight loads, allowing again track alignment and also ride dynamics. Basically suggesting that the retract portions of Big Thunder Mountain are now entering the testing and verification phase of the refurbishment. So we're getting really close to opening. Obviously, we still got a ways to go because the attraction closed January 6th, 2025. But significant work honestly has been completed. They did fully remove and replacement of the track sections, installation of a new lift hill. There's still ongoing work in the queue area and currently covered in construction tarps, so no one can actually, see into the magic of what they're doing. They're done. Set installation work has been filed by both Icarus exhibits and Mecha Productions. Multiple permits and notices of commencement extending into April of about 2026. So start of ride envelope testing is a clear sign that construction has reached a point where the system validation and safety testing can begin. While this doesn't indicate an imminent reopening, it does confirm that major structural work is nearing completion on key sections of the ride. Disney has said the ride will reopen in 2026, but has not given a more precise timeline. So hopefully we honestly hear more back from Disney in regards to that, because honestly, that was one of my favorite childhood rides. I remember riding that 6 times in one evening during one of the Halloween parties. Mickey's Not So Scary. And boy, that by far was one of my favorite rides. Next thing, of course, that I want to talk to you guys about, and this is a huge development that Disney announced not too long ago. Disney's getting a new park in Abu Dhabi, and of course, while very exciting, because apparently this is going to be it's planned for Yas Island in Abu Dhabi, as many of the other theme parks that are out there are in, but apparently this is supposed to be cutting edge, and this is going to be the first of its kind when the park does come. It's fully funded and operated by Miral, with Disney obviously leading the creative development and operational oversight through its Imagineering division. There is no opening date that has been announced yet, but apparently this is going to be the 7th global theme park destination that Disney actually has. And based on concept art, it looks very beautiful, but honestly, me personally, I can say this isn't, I don't think any Disney fan has actually asked for this. Especially with Epic Universe coming to, Orlando, and it I would imagine that Disney would at least consider a 5th gate being opened in Orlando or in Bay Lake, around that area. But apparently we've heard nothing, and it's kind of, in my opinion, it's disheartening. It's very disheartening, because to be honest, there's going to be a Disney drone show. There's going to be a fireworks kickoff at Disneyland Abu Dhabi, and it sounds phenomenal. But the guests that really love Disney expected and wanted that to be in Orlando. Because if you're going to have as many competitors as Disney has in Orlando with Universal, the main one being Universal, obviously, SeaWorld, I love you, we really do, but you're not even in that conversation. I mean, theme park roller coaster wise, best of class, don't get me wrong, obviously, and aside from what Universal's done with Epic, because I've heard, I heard the Racers is beating any roller coaster that SeaWorld has. But to be honest, you're not in the conversation at the moment, as much as I love your parks. But yeah, I mean, it's very disheartening, because again, we've wanted a 5th park forever. We asked for it to be Villains. It was shot down. Universal announces a 3rd gate, an official 3rd gate, where I'm not counting their water park, because it's a water park. It's a water park, simply put. So they announced a 3rd gate officially, with IPs that people love. Super Nintendo Land, we've known about it for years. With How to Train Your Dragon, we've known and loved that for years. With the Harry Potter getting another land, people loved Harry Potter. It was a rival for anything that Disney has in their parks for years. And they announced that they're going to build this all-in-one new theme park with a new resort. Actually, 2 resorts, if I recall correctly, aside from Helios. And this is what Disney's given us. Abu Dhabi. I mean, we love it. I guess. But I love the idea of it. It's just, again, it's not where we would expect it to be. Not where we would want it to be. So hopefully Disney catches on. Because again, that'd be something that I would imagine everyone would actually be excited for or love. But yeah, I guess if that's what they want to do. But yeah, 2026 is going to be a great year. Of course, now we got Star Wars Smuggler's Run getting an update with, of course, the Mandalorian and Grogu. Supposedly coming. Apparently, it's supposed to launch May 22nd of 2026, as they gave us an exact date. And in all honesty, I'm excited. I'm excited. To be honest, that was one of the first Star Wars properties or ventures that they've done that has been extremely successful. Outside of their gaming world that they've done, games and movies. Don't get me wrong, the Acolyte was pretty good, but honestly, it to me personally, it hasn't matched the Mandalorian. It hasn't. So incorporating the Mandalorian and Grogu is going to be huge, and especially giving something as huge as Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run an update, kind of like how they do with Star Tours. I think doing updates would be sensational, as opposed to giving the same exact experience depending on how you interact with that one map or whatever. I feel like that'd be great. I feel like that'd be great. So honestly, I'm excited. Because based on concept art, it looks like we're going to be going to Bespin, because you can apparently choose the destination for the first time. They're going to allow us to not only control the ship, but the destination of where we go, so we can set course for Bespin, the cloud-covered city above a gas giant, obviously, or the wreckage of the second Death Star, which is floating above Endor. And not actually, I think actually a third one, Coruscant, also actually as well. So we're supposed to be able to choose between those 3, which honestly, I'm excited. I'm so excited for it. I personally can't wait to go to the wreckage of the second Death Star, floating above Endor. I can't wait to go there. Bespin would be great to, again, maybe if they give us a little Lando, like a Lando, nod there, but honestly, the wreckage of the second Death Star, that's for me personally, I cannot wait. Another major change that's going to impact the engineering role. Engineers will now be able to communicate with Grogu during the mission, triggering reactions and interactions as the story unfolds. So this new feature is going to bring an added layer of immersion and character connection for riders in that position, which I think is really awesome. The updated storyline is going to introduce a bounty hunt organized by Hondo, who's caught wind of a shady deal on Tatooine between ex-Imperial officers and a crew of pirates. With the reward on the line, guests are going to join forces with Mando and Grogu to track down the culprits and navigate through various destinations in pursuit. Disney did confirm that the attraction's new plot runs separately from the events of the upcoming The Mandalorian and Grogu feature film, which actually also premieres on May 22nd of 2026, which is pretty cool. So this is really going to be cool. I can't wait for this experience, especially with my experience of playing games and experiencing the Unreal Engine 5. This overhaul is basically going to be made possible through a collaboration with Walt Disney Imagineering, Industrial Light and Magic, and Epic Games, which obviously, if you are not familiar with them, many great games, including Fortnite. The ride's new visuals and gameplay system run on Unreal Engine 5, the same real-time rendering tech used to create the Mandalorian series on Disney Plus, allowing for cinematic quality environments that respond dynamically to rider choices. So this is going to be really, really cool. And last thing I want to discuss with you guys for this evening is, of course, as if you're not already aware, Disney actually has something called Cool Kids Summer, and they actually have a couple of Cool Kids Summer offerings coming up at Walt Disney World. And it was announced that Phineas and Ferb will actually return for a character meet and greet at Epcot starting June 1st of 2025. Obviously, the popular duo from the Disney Channel animated series will be available to meet daily beginning June 1st, giving guests a chance to interact and take photos with the stepbrothers as part of the resort-wide summer celebration focused on families with young kids. Honestly, when they actually had their, of course, meet and greets previously, especially during, initially when they had the, oh my gosh, what was it called? Was it around Kid Cot, where you could actually go around and take tons of pictures, and you had to be a detective, kind of like, or a secret agent, like Agent P, Perry the Platypus. Very popular. Their meet and greet location will be part of the broader Cool Kids Summer programming at Epcot, which includes Goofy Core at Communicore Hall, an interactive play space with games, crafts, and DJ-led dance parties, character appearances, activities, and music geared towards younger guests. Cool Kids Summer runs from May 27th through September 1st of 2025, with new offerings also debuting at Magic Kingdom, Hollywood Studios, and Animal Kingdom. Disney has not yet announced how long the Phineas and Ferb appearance will continue beyond the summer season, but honestly, I can't wait for this, especially considering I have my nieces and my nephews to take them. This will definitely be a fun experience for the family and for all the kids. So, of course, as usual, definitely want to hear your thoughts on this. Definitely let us know what you're most excited for. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Coasters and Kicks podcast. And of course, it's so good to be back after that 2-year hiatus. Again, we'll be posting weekly to make sure that we get you guys updates as things are ramping up. Of course, especially considering we got tons of new things coming out and getting ready to be released. Thanks again for tuning in to the Coasters and Kicks podcast. Have a great one.
Coasters and Kicks.